1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Aaron McCarty. All the best and calmest guests on Keel are heard on the Jack Spring Electric Keel Newsmaker hotline. By the way, Mr. Thomas Presley, Shreveport State Rep, from Shreveport. Too late this morning. The text "too late" was absolutely awesome.
Sorry about that.
Thank you very much.
I
Absolutely.
Saw you on the House floor. You sent it to me. Thank you. I appreciate it. With all the local delegation, the vast majority of them, pleading for fair treatment for LSUS and our local med school. You put out the numbers. LSU Baton Rouge gets $1.350 billion. $1,350,000,000. And we struggle at LSUS to split up $29 million with two other universities, Eunice and Alexandria. Are those numbers true?
Yeah, so that's the ongoing fundraising effort that LSU embarked upon starting in 2019. It's a $1.5 billion system-wide fundraising effort. When I dug into those numbers and saw that $1.35 billion, and this is all coming from LSU's website, $1.35 billion goes to their Baton Rouge campus, including $27 million for an alumni association new building. And then you split the $29 million between Shreveport, Eunice, and Alexandria combined. It's just untenable. And when you factor that in with this ongoing conversation that we've had for decades. I mean, really, it started in 1994 with a Chamber of Commerce study that was done. It really hit the ground running again in 2012 when there was a move by then chairman of appropriations at the House, Jim Fannin, who's a North Louisiana representative at the time, who wanted to merge LSUS into Louisiana Tech. And following that, which was a failed effort, obviously, but following that was a commitment made by LSU publicly in 2012, a commitment to LSU. It was memorialized with a House resolution, a Senate resolution, a Senate concurrent resolution, authored by all of our regional delegation at the time. Well, we're 10 years later, and they still haven't fulfilled those commitments that they made, and they're the ones that made the commitment. They drafted them.
Look, you got up. The other local delegation stood behind you. They had to call for order, for y'all to pay attention. Your message fell on deaf ears. Are you worried about that? I mean, everybody was wandering around. They really weren't listening to you. They don't give a rip about Shreveport Bossier.
No, I think this is different. I think when we went up there united as a delegation, and it wasn't just Shreveport Bossier, it's all of North Louisiana that's calling for this effort. We want to see progress for our region. And unfortunately, the new plan that was laid out by President Tate with LSU, is the new president of LSU, recently, it's the Scholarship First Initiative. And it lays out 5 different factors that LSU wants to focus on. Well, 2 of those factors are really important to Northwest Louisiana, and they're cyber and biotechnology. And the cyber side in particular is frustrating to me.
Yeah.
When we're sitting next to a 4-star commanded Air Force base that's the head of Global Strike Command, which is dealing in a lot of ways with cyber and the defense side. And LSU wants to create a new military cyber corridor.
Where would they want to? Baton Rouge campus, yeah.
And again, that's coming from an LSU press release. I mean, that's just it's crazy to me to think that we want to move any of the cyber stuff when we can build upon the LSUS campus and continue a program that has tremendous potential. The partnerships that are going on in cyber in our region are fantastic.
Mr.
You've got LSUS, you've got Louisiana Tech, you've got all of our higher education systems working together with our community college system, with the private sector, with military. I mean, it's perfect for continuous expansion, and we really need to focus on that.
You said a couple of seconds ago to Aaron's first question, your response was, I think things are going to be different now. I think, I'm paraphrasing, I don't think this latest point we are making is going to fall on deaf ears. And then when you and Aaron both cite the Cyber Command expansion and they're putting it in Baton Rouge, aren't the legislators from South Louisiana looking at us in this part of the state and basically saying, so what are you going to do?
Well, I mean, we have some mechanisms. We certainly are continuing ongoing conversations with the LSU system. But again, we're 10 years into a plan that they laid out. So, if LSU's not willing to come to the table and make some big moves, then we as the legislature are going to have to. It takes getting a consensus of the body. That's always a hard challenge when we have less of a population than South Louisiana. But there are many people that are frustrated with the system of LSU right now on a lot of different fronts. And so, I think it's a possibility for us to be able to make some headways on that. And again, I've had lots of conversations with my colleagues, both locally, who are all united, as well as folks from throughout the state that are frustrated with the lack of attention to all of the campuses within the LSU system.
If nothing else, this does call for a bipartisan effort reaching across the aisle from North Louisiana representatives, legislators of both parties who otherwise don't see eye to eye on much, right?
We are 100% united on making sure that both LSUS and the Health Science Center in Shreveport are taken care of and are a focus for LSU system moving forward.
Okay, Mr. Hot Air.
Good heavens.
I've heard this before. I've heard this song over and over and over again, and nothing changes. What can the people that have a case of PIB, what can Shreveport-Bossier residents do? What can North Louisiana residents do to make sure we get more than crumbs finally?
In other words,
I think we need to
squeaky wheel time. What do we do?
Absolutely. Squeaky wheel time. I think we need to email the president of LSU, let him know that the priorities that have been laid out are not acceptable for our region. I think social media is a prime place that we should be focusing our attention. I mean, this is a squeaky wheel situation. The way that the allocation of funds happens is it goes to the LSU system. What the system puts out is what the priority is. So, I mean, we certainly on the legislative side are going to be pushing our colleagues. We're going to be talking about this continuously, and it has been a continuous conversation, both publicly and privately, for most of this session. And this week, it was time for us to stand up on the floor and say this is not acceptable.
Again, the total package is $1,500,000,000 for LSU. $1,350,000,000 of that goes to LSU Baton Rouge. We divvy up $29 million with 3 universities.
That's right. That's the ongoing LSU fundraising effort.
Right.
Now that is a public and private, fundraising effort, but that includes money from the state and from capital outlay. It's really important that we continue to prioritize what our needs are, what our desires are. I mean, I want to see LSUS be able to thrive as a place that people want to come to, and want to be able to get their bachelor's degrees and master's degrees and even doctorate degrees from. If Shreveport's going to succeed, we've got to invest in higher education. We've got to ensure that it's moving forward and that people want to attend there. But when you look at the med school as well, I mean, the research dollars that are happening in Baton Rouge as well as New Orleans are significantly higher than what Shreveport is. Xavier University in New Orleans has more research that's NIH dollars than the Shreveport campus.
Love that Xavier Med School.
Mr. Thomas, pardon me. Erin is down there. Erin is down there running a little long. I hope you got another second or two. She is down there grinding her teeth.
I'm about to go crazy.
Holding
Thomas.
up one finger. So she has one more quick question.
It's really not a question. I'm going to put the addresses, the email addresses of the president of LSU, the governor, everybody that's involved. It'll be at keelnews.com today. Local leaders, residents, anybody who cares. It is time for the squeaky wheel to roll south. Please. Thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, God.
1017 FM 710 Keel. Robert and Aaron Keel from Office Furniture Source. Here's Reuben.